Okay, evening pirates. Welcome to TFC Open Mic. This is season 3, episode 10. We titled this one "Times Are Changing." Hello, all in the live chat. Good evening to you. Hello, Mary, just popped in there. Good evening, buddy. That was very sneaky of you just to pop in as I just started. And Solex, how are you doing, buddy?
Doing good over here.
Excellent. Liam, how are thee?
Wonderful, thank you. Wonderful, good to see you all.
And Brian's in the closet. How you doing, Brian?
As usual.
Burn daylight savings time. Burn it along with our imperialist measurement system.
Yes. Yeah. Well, we might be going back soon anyway. But hey, you never know. I can't even remember what pounds and inches.
No, but your way works. It makes perfect sense, and you only have to learn one unit for everything, and just the prefixes. How many, inches in a yard, or ounces to pounds, or cups to pints to quarts? No.
I have forgotten how to say.
I have too. I don't care. That's why I want leaders. And then one thing. That's it.
You mathematician, you. Hey, Ren, how you doing? He's in.
Hey, Mark, I'm good. Yourself?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. So,
I'm staying here. If it fills up, I'm gonna drop. Okay.
Yeah, we're pretty mellow at the moment. So, like I say, guys, those in live chat, if you want to pop in, I'll post it up again. But no rules apply. Keep it sensible. Let's keep it sweet. Right. Okay. So, lots have happened. Shall we say it's token-tastic, Brian? What do you reckon?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can do. There's a lot of stuff you can get, and there's a nice progression of going in and getting the hunter stuff, then going and getting the fang stuff. Unfortunately, you really can't do all of that within this week time frame, but at least the tools seem there that you can start to get a handle on stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of tokens out there. And talking of tokens, I mean, it's token-tastic, as I said. I mean, the FM, a nice chance to get some catch-up tokens. Liam, what do you reckon? You're happy with those, aren't you?
Not really. No, I mean my hunters and fangs were basically there. So I mean, it was good to get some CT.
Yeah, I was going to say you wanted some of the other ones, didn't you?
Which ones are you talking?
The other ones, COs and CTs. Weren't you after some of those?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was fantastic to get my hands on that. I mean, I've now managed to finish the fangs and the hunters 100%. So now it's the bloody Phoenixes and Skyfires. They need a bit more charged armors now. So yeah, no tokens for them anywhere. That's for sure.
Yeah. Were you surprised to see who was surprised to see sort of like charge armor in the FM? Because they did say we're never going to do it.
Yeah, well, I didn't mean to go first, but I mean, I was surprised to see it, and it almost, I wasn't sure if I should be thankful or concerned. That's my issue, because if they're throwing me all this charged armor, there's a reason for it. Is charged armor no longer, is it shelf life or its importance about to drop? That's my concern.
Hey, that's a good point. I mean, yeah, you don't get something for nothing. Not in this game.
Even if it does drop, though, even if there is charged level 2 coming around the corner, there's still a lot of players that can't get it. And even for the new charged armor, it's 8 million each, 10 million each, and it's just so much that it's a reasonable solution for a player that could only get so many points in the raid to just get the new whole weapon special, whatever they can, and put level 1 charged on. I mean, with this adding the charged armor in, which is great, and I expected it as soon as I saw they could do limited items with the resistors, but I didn't expect it to be this cheap. And I think that's really good for players catching up, but I think everything is going to be tuned around charge now, and there's no way around it because they offer it so freely.
Yeah, Venom, you were saying, mate.
You have to take into consideration that the amount of armors being used has gone up. So I think it was the monoliths were 3, the icebreakers were 4, and now with the Inferno Dragon we've now got 5 required. So we've got an additional requirement for the armors now. So it's probably best that they do give us a little bit more armor. If the trend
Brian kind of made me laugh when he said that he's afraid things will be tuned for charged armor from now on, because they already are.
I always thought they were.
That's fair.
The thing is,
the reality is, like, if they didn't make charged armors a lot more attainable and available, players were not playing. I mean, really, how could you hope to do raid without charged armor? How can you hope to do the new uranium targets without charged armor? There's not a hope in hell. Players are just quitting the game because they don't have charged armor, because it's unplayable without charged armor. You make a mistake and you have 12 hours of repair if you try to use normal armor. And even the weight limits, you know, it's you put the regular D5 armors, you can't put weapons anymore.
And the thing is,
ridiculous. I mean, the game is all built around charged armor now.
And the thing is, they could have reduced a lot of that need with proper tuning, both in the raids. Like, I've been upset at the past 2 raids tuning with what they've tuned it to, even in the A sets, and tuning it properly when they put the targets out on the map. Yeah, the Scourge targets are tough, and they were tough in the raid, but I was hitting the highest targets. They could tune the A sets, and they could tune the map targets, everything but probably the top level, to not necessarily need charged armor. Like,
well, I don't think
they control everything.
But I don't think they're capable of doing it, Brian. I mean, they cannot find a place, or don't seem capable of finding a place where it's fair and doable and fun for players without charged armor that doesn't become insta repair totally free for everybody who has charged armor. It's such a big contrast. Yeah. It's either works for, you know, either they don't make money and game goes offline, or they want to make money and everybody who doesn't have it can play.
The thing is, to balance that out, I would think that maybe the build time of charged armors would be enough, because it's a day and a half per plate, and that's huge. You think
that is about the same thing? It's a day.
Oh god, I would almost never put D5.
Problem to me was availability. It's just like people could not get charged armor at 10 million, 7 million points a piece during raid. Now they're making it available for everyone, so people don't give up on the game, because a lot of people are doing just that. I mean, have you tried doing titanium with Skyfires without charged armor?
Not a hope.
No.
Yes, it hurts.
It hurts. Yeah, you're on that, aren't you, mate? You got that.
It hurts, and the repair time, it's ridiculous.
Titanium with Skyfires without charged armor.
Yeah, you just can't.
Try that.
My Skyfires don't have charged armor. I go out and do five of the 85s and then just dock them in repair that night.
Whereas I can do an 85 and instant fix.
Right.
That's the difference.
Well, for me, I thought that was fair, because before that I was using Phoenixes, and I bought the Skyfires that came out on offer.
But I can also do it with Phoenixes with charge fire. That isn't quite simple. I have to split the fleet up, but I can do it if I bust them, dock them and then split them up again. So charge does make a huge difference, mate. As long as you don't get one of them looking stupid, cheese balls hitting you, those.
Personally, charge armors I never thought they were a good idea from the start. I knew it was bad for the game, and we're here a year later, and we're dealing with the consequences of that.
Hey, Kirk, how you doing?
There's only one thing I like about charged armor, is that they make your ships better with 0 added repair time. That's it.
And I feel.
One second, you've got your YouTube on. So, that's it. You've got your YouTube on, Dirk, so we can hear the YouTube backfeed from Mike.
And they've balanced repair times around that too, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, personally, for me, I think the fix that they could have done, or they should have done right at the very first, is instead of it being charge armor, does it's got the charge and that sort of stuff, and I understand that it's a must-have. I think the difference is that it shouldn't have made it quite so favorable to the people that have had it. The only thing he could have done was just said, look, it takes instead of a normal charge, it's not a normal armor. So instead of a D5, whatever it is, or something 5, then it could have taken 15 minutes off the fix for everyone you have. That's not better, mate. I don't want the noises in the background, but
yeah, there is a noise in the background. If you've got the sound on to your YouTube, then we can hear it. So you'll need to try and mute the sound.
I think it's your speakers on the PC. Yeah.
Maybe the speakers on the PC. Yeah. Which
is unusual because normally your stuff's fine. Yeah, I don't know. You're right. Everything seems to be, and I was talking to GDR about it the other day. And even he said he found it very interesting, the rollout over the last 12 months of how charge armor has dictated the direction of the game and the way that players are gaming the game, if you know what I mean. So even they're not happy with it, to be honest. So yeah, I think this. my gut feeling is all this charge is dropping in now to sort of like try and level the playing field, although it does take an awful long time to put it on, and especially if you're going to take some off to put this on instead, that's almost like a complete waste of time. But I see a different path coming in the future.
Yeah,
This
I mean,
can't stay.
I still need more. You know what I mean? Like, I could still use another 10 COs. I could use, I think I'm 2 CTs short at the minute. So, you know, but because we're required to have 2 fleets, like Phoenix and Skyfire, Hunters and Fangs. I mean, some people run 3 CTs on Fangs, like I do. So you're looking at 15 CTs across Fangs, you know, and 5X. So that's 20. And then you got your Hunters. You need another 10 CTs and another 10X, and you know, I mean, the numbers are quite high when you start adding them all
and
up.
it gets to a point, Liam, where like I needed more COs for my Skyfires, but in the end I never added to them because I had so much other crap to build, and I didn't have Skyfire tokens, so they're just running as they are. You know, I could make them a little bit better, but I can auto like 4, 5, 6, 85s depending on luck, and that I'm living with that.
Well, I mean,
I have the extra charge armor. I don't have time.
As you know, I started this year very behind with many fleets. I didn't have, when I started this year, I didn't have Hunters, I didn't have Fangs, I didn't have Skyfires, I didn't have Mono Zelos fleet. You know, there was tons of fleets I didn't have, and I had to kind of get them built and get them armored. And I still need charge armors. I've managed to get all the fleets in line except for Phoenixes and Skyfires. They're the last 2 I need to do, but.
Yeah, but again, let's not underestimate the build time problem, because I know, and I'm not vilifying you at all for that. I know you coin heavily at points to catch up. I think you bought the Fangtooth fleet. I think you coined a lot on the Hydra fleet. You know, you wanted to be up to speed, but I mean, players who can't or don't want to coin that much, there's no way of keeping up even without the tokens. So without the refits they're imposing on us with escalation this, escalation that. And now a third skirmish fleet because Hunters are slow and suck. So now they're going to make us build a third skirmish fleet totally out of cycle.
And one thing I will say from that perspective as well is when you don't have the right fleets and when you don't have the right tech,
oh, you're screwed.
The game is appalling. Like it's almost hatred. Like there's no fun in it. There's no enjoyment level. Like if you don't have the right fleets and you aren't up to spec, then I can see why people walk away. I really can. And if you're not in a position to invest like I was, then I probably would have walked away because there would be no point playing.
What they really need to do is after each raid cycle, they need to lower the cost of building and the time of building that specific fleet, so that people who haven't built it will be in a position where they can get the fleet maybe in a month, but they'll have that fleet a lot faster than what we get now. And without doing that, or without giving us loads and loads of tokens, they're just never going to build that fleet. I have raid fleets there that are half built, and they're needed for the TLCs, but they're never going to be finished. Never.
Yeah. You're bang on, Venom. I mean, I know they revisit build times once or twice a year for some fleets, but it should, and I know it's not easy, but it should be built in. Like if the expected lifetime of a fleet is 12 months, you know, at the 6-month mark, the build time should be down to 50% of the original time.
What they're failing to notice is players are more likely to spend the time and effort on building and coining the fleet. Hear myself again. They're more likely to coin a fleet that's being reduced in price and then go and coin in the TLC because the price has been lowered. If the fleet has still got the long build time that it was the exact same for the raid, they're not going to do it. They're just not. There's too much time required for the current raid fleet and the current FM fleet and any PvP ships that you want to build all in one time for anyone to even consider going back to an old fleet to build it. If there's something in the TLC, well, they're just going to have to suffer.
Bear in mind,
That's the problem.
We're mainly talking about PvE here, but the way the game is now, like PvE and PvP are almost two entire games in themselves. I mean, there's 2 raids, there's 2 shipyards, there's there's different resource requirements. I mean, I got caught up on PvE fairly quickly by going for it, but PvP, I'm still in catch-up mode, and these 30-day fucking sorry, excuse the French, weapon equips and having to play the bounty, otherwise you won't be ready for the next bounty. It's a huge amount of strain to try and stay current on both.
For me personally, I would rather we've got to change the format coming up soon. We've got this raid coming up, and then we've got obviously the textural raid, and then we move on again. Personally, I would like to see the end of charge armors. I think it's a mechanic that came in 2017 to make money, and ultimately now everything is tuned towards it, and I just want it to disappear. I don't like it. All we got to do is get rid of it, go back to normal stuff, but just reduce the build times. That's all it needs down, the fix times. It's a simple fix. It doesn't cost anything for them apart from a tweak of a statistic. You just don't need it.
And yeah, I mean, there's already enough pressure on builds. There's already enough pressure on every other aspect of the game. Don't give us limited armors. I mean, see the new PvP armors? They were fantastic. Blueprints available in FM. All our fleets came up straight away. Shove them on your guard, shove them on your basers, shove them on old ships. Fantastic idea. And really changed PvP, made it better for everyone. Brilliant release by Kickstarter. And they made it available to everyone very easily through FM. And that's exactly what should have happened with the,
And more than that, Leon, the new armors have a beautiful thing, which is a trade-off. Right? They're so powerful and they're great and widely available, but they have that higher pass-through that in older holes, if you don't use them wisely, it hurts. So it requires you to think and use the proper strategy. And it's great. It's not like if I have it, I do great. If I don't, I won't even play.
Well, I mean,
arms are like that. You have it, great. You don't even play. Don't show up.
Yeah, and they could have been very, very annoying people and release them as limited armors, and I think that would have sent people over the edge.
Yeah, no, he couldn't do that, because if you're going to bring, if you're going to bring PvP back into the game, you had to bring it to the myriad of people in the game that are still here that haven't left last year. So you've got to give something to everybody. And the good thing is, as Renan said there, those were in tier 4. They were easily accessible to those that could get to tier 4, which was fine because you could go through some of the old targets, and then you could then pick around. And then once the bypass figures got put through across the whole PvP fleet, then you could then start looking at it, and you could instantly see the statistics. Like, there's a certain fleet that was offered in the last bounty that had 500, K of armor points on it, with a very, very low bypass. And to be honest, it didn't really need anything on it, but if you'd have filled it up, then it wouldn't have lasted very long, So having those extra statistics and a couple of really simple switches in PvP has made a huge change. And I think charge armor has had its day and it should go. I really do.
Would anyone
agree with that? I mean, it's like they plan on retuning like the FM, so they could retune lower targets for non-charge armor, and then keep the top tier targets with the charged armor. And we're talking about tokens and build times as well. And it's like, so we've got this raid cycle plus the next raid cycle, and they're changing the FM within the changeover from this raid cycle to the next. So where's the tokens for the new garrison homes? Where's the TLCs for that was hinted at? I mean, so I gotta disagree on that note.
With one thing is, I know a lot of people with the complaints about being kept up with PvE is they're not kept up with the FM. They can't get to tier 5 very easily, even though there's been builds, there's been ways of getting to tier 5 for free with 2 Zeloses and whatever. Now, that's one thing. They are changing it, but how long has it been for them to catch up to tier 5? And that's where all the tokens are. It's in the FM, and that's how you get caught up on the PvE side.
They're changing the FM because we can do it for free. They'd never want us to do it for free.
Oh yeah, that.
Even with a half-ass decent icebreaker, you can grind out 111s to get tier 5.
Well, that's interesting. I mean, I'm retrofit to level 3 on the icebreakers, which I know is quite new. So I thought I'd go and give a try of a 115. Now, I've not changed my build, and interestingly, it's the free build that's offered at the moment. Not the free build, but it's the build that's offered for purchase in the game at the moment. It's exactly the same, the mirror image to the build I've got now. And I just managed to do, even just get into a retrofit of level 3. Nothing else has changed, just one sprint, and all the rest of it's normal rockets. And I'm back to just under an hour's fix in the 115. You know, across the whole fleet, which is not too bad, and going round in a slightly different path. It's under. I've still got charge left on all the charges. Actually, I went back in for a second one, and I was 2 115s for 1 hour 15. You try and do the same thing in a 117. You know, even with the new fleet. You know, George is struggling, and he's had some right funky times of testing doing that thing.
Well, they try.
People are going to struggle because they already said, Rampage said on his video on Friday, he just said, you know, oh, the 112 will pay more than the 111, but they're not saying it's going to pay as much as the 115. And he said it's tuned to legendary, fully retrofitted icebreakers. You know what that means.
Well, that's a good link, Ren. Yeah. So let's move on a little bit then. Let's look at the concept that came out. Obviously, second of Rampage's sort of live streams. He talked about a couple of things, but the most interesting thing he did say is raid starts this weekend, as in the one coming 15th, like, you know, and this is the end of 115s. They're gone. So as soon as that raid's over, you won't see them again. There may be a little of a bit of a crossover. You know, sometimes when they're first initiating, it pops up, you might see one, but if it does, I'll be surprised. But 112s are out, and we don't actually know what they look like. We just have that pain threshold that Ren just said.
Venom's doing a 117.
Danger!
Hi, Ren.
Hi.
Hello, burst my eardrums, Ren. Thanks very much.
I'm awake. I'm awake.
Good Lord, look at that picture. Yeah, so 117s, do them at your peril at the moment because I don't think anybody's really ready. I know Ren did a quick post and it looked like a 4-to-1 ratio. I saw.
Don't look
I
at
don't know.
Venom.
I could
Don't look
do
at
one dragon that I'm testing out has 8 minutes repair. So it's looking very doable even with Zelos. I know they tried to make this target into a anti-Zelos method, but it looks doable with the 2 Zelos.
Yeah, at the moment, don't forget we've got it's tuned right down at the moment, mate. It's going to go up.
True, but also my fleet isn't fully done, so
All they got to do is add one building that has a deficit against Generalist, and then you've had it. This is what they did in the raid. Remember that?
The I give up defense.
Yeah. Which makes Zelos is obsolete, and any Generalist obsolete. You know, we can't beat them. So, but yeah, I see what you're saying. A lot of people are trying like 2 to 3 of those. 2 to 3 of the new dragons and a couple of Zeloses.
I'm still getting huge feedback here.
Yeah, I'm not sure who it is. I don't know. Anyway, Dirk, while you're in, mate, how are things with you anyway?
Guys, is it my mic that's giving feedback?
I'm not sure what it is, mate, to be honest, but I can hear you clear as well. So, what are your thoughts, mate, on the changes of the 112 coming in, 115 disappearing, etc.?
Well, first of all, I've got all the charge armors, so I'm busy with the weekly, the FM. Well, we'll have to see. We'll get our way around it again.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get around it. Yeah, getting around it's not really the answer if we want to continue on. I mean, I was just looking at Hairface, making me. Is this the end of the game? Is that the end of the world, Hefe, in chat there? I don't know. I'm not so sure. We'll overcome it. I'm sure we will. But no one likes transition. Not this sort of level of transition, anyway. But
well, and you know what? It would have been nice if they rolled out a preview server, a public preview server for people to test the new, the 1112s and whatnot, and give people a chance to actually see what they're going to entail, and maybe they can adapt a couple of builds to be ready for it. Because post raid, if they do take away the 115s, there's going to be a lot of people cursing and saying, you know, they can't do their FMs and whatnot. So Kicks have kind of just made a run for their own back with that, I think.
They haven't done the public servers where a lot of people could get in like large volumes in a really long time. And those used to be helpful. That would be definitely helpful for the FM changes, so I agree.
Yeah, that's the public-facing piece. Yeah, you're right.
I'm just tired of them never leaving this FM alone. You know, like they keep changing, and every time they make a change, nobody likes. So like, it's one of those like it's like shit sitting out in the sun. You know, like the more you mess with it, the more it stinks. Let it dry.
Great reference, that.
They don't learn from their mistakes. They're forgetting about history. They're pulling a snowflake liberal. Let's tear shit down and put new stuff up, and hopefully we won't repeat ourselves in the future. 6 months later, oh, we're doing it again. We don't remember that because we didn't keep a record of it.
Like, not even 6 months in the future, though. The old 115s, that was like 4 or 5 months ago. I think this is some weird, like, experiment at this point to see what we do, because no one wants to do the 115s because we don't have the fleets. We don't know the builds. Stuff's getting really slowly, but even the builds aren't finalized.
117s, yeah.
Yeah. We haven't had a month yet with these hulls. It's not even been a full raid cycle. And they're expecting us to have this level of completion that just isn't possible. We need multiple 7-day tokens in the FM to get to the point where they think we're ready. The tuning this year so far has been atrocious. Raids and this, and it's not even tuned up yet. So I think a lot of people, even though like I'm building Infernos right now, but I needed to spare a few days to finish up a Buccaneers Boon, and if that's what kills me off, so be it. But I don't think I made a mistake. Like, they want too much. They want everyone to have like a fully done fleet of 4 a month after, and that's not possible. Between that and ranking this, which is much more difficult, it's not going to happen. What they want is impossible, and they haven't realized it or don't care, or they're going to pull some ridiculous nonsense where right after the raid they say, oh, we're going to roll back this change because the players disagreed. No, you still made a terrible decision. You're still idiots. Deal with it. Like, this isn't, like, we're not fooled anymore. You still made a terrible decision after saying, oh, the FM is the cornerstone of the game and so important, and we're going to try to leave it alone, but they've accelerated a change, I feel, a month before people would normally be ready for it. That's a terrible decision, and they can suck it up and take it, or they can back away, but the poor decision was still made. I don't know what's happening anymore. I don't know what to do.
I do know what to do. I think the changes should be twice yearly, not 3 times yearly. But I think the information should come out 3 months before. The information comes out 3 months before. It gives you 3 months to prepare for it and build in time, and then obviously do a transition. That would make sense. The 3 changes a year is not clever, because it interrupts everything else. And you know, you can turn around and think, well, it doesn't really matter, we're going to one ship. Well, all of a sudden we're not going to one ship because there's a nice new 3rd skirmisher fleet coming out for some bizarre reason. So we're getting three of those now in 1 year. What's that all about?
Yeah, we were supposed to get the 2 fleets per raid, and then that be done for a year, right? So I trusted that, and that pisses me off because I trusted that model. You know, got the 2 skirmish fleets out, and before that the 2 assault, and now all of a sudden, just because the 2 fleets suck, to be honest. I mean, on chores, and when you try to weekly get your uranium, the Fangs will take 6-7 minutes to kill a target. Hunters take a long time to kill a target, and they all take a crap load of damage. You know. Now instead of saying, oh, let's put the Hunter on the retrofit lab. Oh, here's a 3rd fleet for you to build because we can design a fucking good fleet.
Figures.
Okay, I'll have to cut that bit later. Anyway, but yeah, look, I mean, I understand what Chris said. He said, yeah, right, we're going to have this thing. It's on the right-hand side. So anything you want to get anything from obviously the lock store, you'll struggle now because you've got to go and get, if you've got everything on the left-hand side, you've got no choice but to get this ship. I suppose the bonus for that means then if you get this stuff on the right-hand side, because you want to get into lock store, at least they're going to give you a full build, their perfect build, you know, and they'll do it for free-ish. Well, it's not free. It's not free, is it? How's that free? You've just used up all your points to actually try and get into lock store, and then got yourself another ship, a 3rd one that you didn't really want. He is saying that it's going to interact with all the others, i.e. the hunters. Well, why didn't you just put another special into the raid, forget the right-hand side for a change, and just make the hunters better?
There is the other point of they've done nothing for the subs and those who actually never made any hunters.
Can I make a point on that one?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah,
the point is, no matter what, whatever they throw on that side, we have to get it to get to the lock store if we want the charged armor or whatever new freaking lock prize to stop, say, the twin blade with a turn instead of using a base guard to stop the one hull. So no matter what, we gotta claim that side, and it's okay that they give us a free one, but still, we're gonna want to build a full freaking fleet of it, and they're not gonna help you on that one.
Wouldn't it be nicer to put on the right side to put the Inferno stuff? Because lots of people haven't got that yet.
Well, yeah, that too. Like people that mess up on the Inferno Dragon to help them on their FM, that would help also.
That could be in the unlock store though, and I hope it is.
It could be, but if you've got to go up the ladder anyway, 3 rungs up is the hull, then it obviously goes to a special and that sort of stuff. Well, 3 rungs up could quite easily go, and have the Inferno sitting there, which is a reasonable amount.
I'd rather see the left is Buccaneer and the right is Hydra. So if you're all caught up, you just go straight to the lock store. Like the raid cycle's half over, and after this, we're going to be building for. Well, we'll still be building for the FM probably, but we'll also be building for what Assault is next, I think.
Indeed.
Yeah, and the new hull will be in there on one side, and then something else will be on the other side again. So let's see what that's going to be.
I don't know if tech store hulls have had sides necessarily, but yeah, I think because the raid cycle as we build for is almost ending, I think that they should make things more accessible, so that if you've got the Hydra and all that, you just go straight to the lock store. And if you need charged armors, which actually you probably shouldn't, not necessarily, because the TLCs have been great at giving out charged armors, even the Path of the Continent, etc. ones, or I'm sorry, the easier ones, not the super hard ones everyone dies. They've been giving out a lot. So you get those, or you can get, maybe they'll reoffer the Executioner Tutor at this rate, or the shards, or whatever. You can get those easier now if they free up those slots.
Yeah, that's what.
Next month is going to be a busy month for everyone because we've got FM fleets to attend with. We've got the new fleet for the new cycle to attend with. We've got a bounty probably to attend with. We've got escalation probably.
Whoa. You got Chameleons to build yet. You got your Generalist ones for your expeditions as well.
I mean, so next month, for me alone, I mean, I've finished my Buckies at the moment. I'm expecting Hydra escalation next month. I'm going to have to finish FM fleet, and I'm going to have to look at building the fleet for the new cycle coming. So I'm going to have a space of about 6 weeks to do all that.
Well, just go and get a credit card.
Well,
that's what Pixar wants.
Has anyone actually prioritized the Chameleon build?
No, I've not built Chameleons at all.
I haven't built no Generalist, but Zelos for FM.
I have one Chameleon half built with the 10-day tokens I got from that TLC, and now I'm waiting for the TLC to run again to make more progress.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Could someone explain why we actually need Chameleons?
Quote unquote 900% resource generation from whatever TLC they're going to do.
But 45 days to get it.
I did a quick check on one, and if you go with a full fleet of Chameleons in a Generalist expedition, you can get a haul of approximately 1 million base parts in a day. That's why. But is that enough reason without the pressure they're putting on us on all the other crap? That's never. Chameleons will never be built because of that.
No.
And the build time of them is like crazy long for what they are.
20 days.
I mean, and the flagship's like 25, 26. I mean, so you're looking at over 100 days to build a fleet of something just to do expeditions, which technically you do have fleets that could go out and do that stuff anyway and get those resources without needing to even do the expeditions.
Exactly.
So for me,
I think it's crap.
It's too much of a commitment. I don't do expeditions. I just go out. I have the autopilot fleets and just go out and get the stuff on the map.
Yep.
Now,
Exactly.
I'll be honest, I mean, because I'm so tired of the class system, would be fun to build a Generalist and try multiple different targets and whatnot, but I'll never get to that because it's low priority.
Okay, Ren. Well, you know as well as I know, Andrew tried that method. He's tried for the last 4 or 5 raids to get on the Generalist. I'll just build the Generalist straight, and actually, it's turned out that he's actually got nothing built that's decent because they take so long to build, and then he tries to adjust them for escalation, that sort of stuff, and he ends up with nothing basically.
So as it stands, the entire Generalist class could be scrapped, and nobody would miss it going forward.
Yeah, it's another stocking filler, isn't it? It was supposed to be the mid-range, midship for. I'm not at the top level, but I'd like to do A sets, not the S sets. It just didn't seem to work out. So.
Yeah, I helped 2 people get Chameleons in the first raid of this cycle, and both of those players haven't built them or have tried and couldn't, and they just don't have fleets to do the raid.
And again, I think it's all because of a knee-jerk reaction to their own limits over there, because in the Garrison raid, the Empyreans did so well, so much better than the skill hull, the monos, which were crap, that after that they started limiting and handicapping and sabotaging their own Generalists left, front, and center. I mean, just look at it now. They couldn't have people with Zealous tanks doing the 115s for very low damage, so they're retiring the target and replacing with something where I bet Zealous won't stand a chance.
Well,
I don't think they will once they spark it up a little bit. I don't think they will.
How can they justify the build time when it's meant to be like the mid-range? I mean, Bucky's and Hydra's build quicker.
Yeah.
There was players that couldn't get Bucky's from the earlier time that they were released. There was players that didn't have the fleets to get Hydras in the TLC when they were released. So when the first raid came, they were able to maybe get some help from players to pick up the Chameleon, and they thought, oh great, if I grab this, I'll be able to maybe do this raid cycle. And they've been totally screwed over by it,
Yeah, Ironclads do better.
Yeah, the very first iteration with the cannons that only fit in 3 hours, that was the only thing that anywhere close to worked. As soon as they put in everything else, it was the same time as everything else, which took away all the supposed advantages where all you need to do is refit. Now that refitting takes just as long as everything else. You've barely saved any time, if not outright lost it. And then if you wanted to put on charged armor somehow, oh god, it was miserable. No.
Well, if a ship is being released as a mid-range, hey, grab this, you'll be able to maybe do A sets. Great. But why are you then... the type of players that need to collect that are the type of players that cannot tolerate the 20-day build times. So why are they punishing those players by giving them a longer build time?
Well, listen. I thought initially when they first came out, I thought it was it was a long time to build the hull, but then I thought the concept was you'd be changing things over in a couple of hours, so you could just go. It was a generalist hull. It would do frickin' everything, and the Imperium seemed ideal for that. Zealous and that sort of stuff, sorry. And then all of a sudden you could go, right, we're switching from this one to that one. The defense statistics of the Generalist was going to be equal across the whole board, and all you did was have to switch out a couple of specials and the weapon systems, and then on you go again, keep going. But the problem is, the latest ones like the Chameleons, that's not a Generalist hull, it's a specific hull. It's got specific buffs and specific downsides as well. It can only go in a certain target.
A siege, really. It should be labeled siege.
Well, it's not a Generalist. It's a specific, isn't it? Because it's got, some horrendous stats on that thing. But if you put it into the wrong target, you're going to get melted in seconds.
Well, me personally, I mean, if that hull had a build time attached to it of 12 days all in, then it would be reasonable. As it is right now, I wouldn't recommend anyone to even go near it.
Yeah. Anyway, look, we're halfway through the show. It's all going very well. Everyone's positive. I like it. Look. Let's have a bit of humour first. So let's go back to Bounty 7. Oh, yeah, 7.0. So that was a good point in BP. So we'll keep with that. Now, do you remember we said about, did anybody manage to find and hit their own bases?
No,
I went.
And I didn't manage to hit mine, but somebody else did.
I didn't.
So that was my base.
Me.
If you can see it there you go. I'll share it up then.
Farm.
So yeah, up until Bounty 7 it was doing really well. Like 1 minute after Bounty 7 finished, and then somebody who shall name nameless for the second basically coined all 3 of the new holes and then came straight across and walked right to the back of it. So I had to change it a little bit, which I have done now. But yeah,
I can't imagine who did that.
No, I can't imagine who did that, but he who shall name nameless.
Who would coin in a game that's free to play?
Oh, I can't imagine, Liam.
Oh, I know. The aristocracy, etc., let them eat cake.
Do that. Connor's ruined the game for everyone else.
I wonder how much that cost them.
I don't know, but it doesn't matter. The fact is, he was happy because it worked. But yeah, so look, that was my base, and there it is. So at least I've got to see it. I didn't get to hit it myself, I must admit. So this is Daniel, obviously one of our TFC admins. But he just popped that picture up and went, look.
Out of curiosity, did anyone find their own? Because I thought what they might have done is take all the bases from one world and put them into another world, so no one could actually come across their own base.
I don't know.
You're expecting way too much from Kicksai.
There was too many bases there saying stuff you up, you'll see you later, I'm out of here, and all that sort of stuff. So I don't think they'd be that clever and start making people go from one world to another world. It's just a case of we grab a lot, and now you're going to see the lot.
I was surprised about that because I was thinking that they'd have some type of sensor or something like that. They didn't even check the bases. It didn't seem like.
Yeah, I thought it'd just be live bases, but clearly it wasn't.
No, the DLC's what I know it is a volatile mode for your weapon. So act like that.
I have no idea what's happened to Dirk.
Fire damage.
I just mute you there for a sec, Dirk, because we were just picking up some feedback again.
Sounds like you've got TV on me or something. I don't know. Anyway, right. So yeah, let's just have a quick look. Let me just close that down. So what is actually happening, or what is supposed to be happening in this state? So what was this week's update? Let's just have a quick look, and then we'll talk about it. So the charge path campaign, we like that one there. A little bit troublesome on round one because obviously there's a Rudolph in there. And for people that have got slightly weak, sky fires and that sort of stuff, it was a bit of a troublesome one. So if you couldn't find somebody to come in with a submarine set to nip that thing in the bud for you, it was quite hard. Number 2, yeah, routine subs again.
TSM said in the butt.
Oh my god!
You child. Nip it in the butt, okay, mate. Is a bit different over here.
And you might want to go on the Friday night show.
Although it's nip it in the bud, but there we go.
My mom won't let me.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, yeah, you're probably not old enough for that.
But the good thing I do like about the charge pathway one is obviously number 3 is siege. Now, if you don't kill it and let it time out, it's a great place to go and trial your raid fleet. So if you're doing adaptations, compared to if you want to see where the pathway, I know it's only the 89 Blitzer, but it is a good little target just to test where you're going with your build and especially on countermeasures and that sort of stuff. So and it's not horrendous because obviously if you don't complete it, it sort of times out in sort of like, what is it, 20 minutes, and then you can go back in again, sort of stuff. So if you want to test your stuff for siege, most people have probably finished it by now, but
it's actually a lot harder than the raid 89. It has, I think, more health in it.
Yeah, I found that for Target 2 for skirmish as well. That one, was much stronger than what its standard target was. So
I was in my element in the prize pack too, obviously.
Yeah, I can imagine you were having a great time. You drive like Venom.
Oh, it was.
That's hurtful.
I was like, are these ships even firing?
You know I'm telling the truth, Venom.
Yeah. Well, now we know they don't fire, right? They fire invisible projectiles.
Yeah. Oh yes, so that was another thing.
Aren't we going to talk about that?
Yeah, come on, that's funny. Let me find it on the forum because that has made me smile a lot.
That is probably the worst thing they could possibly have ever done in a sub target ever. The amount of times I've been hit without noticing that my ships are firing in that price pack too.
Gives them excuse to respond to everything and do nothing because it's like, oh, my elite countermeasure turrets aren't working. No, they are. It's just that you don't see their projectiles and you don't see the missiles they're killing, so they're killing invisible projectiles, so it's working. It's
just it's ridiculous, in the siege targets, the blunders, you don't see them. In the base part targets, the giant launchers, you can't see them sometimes. I mean, it's the most ridiculous concept in the world. Like, the only way I realized some of these things were firing on me is that you can still see the graphics of it hitting the water.
Okay, if for those that don't know, okay, here's the paragraph. I'll just pop it up for you, and then we can talk about it. Okay, so this came out obviously on the 8th and then basically said that we made a few changes, and basically if you're about to SOS in the game, we've done an in-game thing where we lower the frame rate. But the problem with lowering the frame rate is obviously the frame rate might be too low that you can't see things like your cat and measure turrets in your base actually doing their job, and you might not see targets firing at you instead, but they're still firing and you're still firing at them, and if you're going to do some damage, you're still doing the same sort of damage.
So in other words, you're still gonna die, but you won't know why.
Yeah, exactly. You want to clue.
It's really interesting to me because I haven't done testing on how long does it take, say, an elite CM to go up and hit the thing, and depending on how much that is, like if you don't see that entire interaction, then it makes me wonder what the FPS is dropping to anyway, because it's not showing the CM projectile in any of the frames. So like, are we playing a 10 FPS game now, a 5 FPS game? Like, what?
The turret doesn't even turn towards the missiles anymore.
Yeah, like what is actually happening right now?
Yeah, I was trying to find a program that would run a frame per second count on a flash game, but I haven't found one yet. I was interested to see if I can find one.
I went testing and put a load of sloths in a fleet, and I could no longer see what was happening.
That sounds about right. Yeah, and the thing is too, like they design these things. I can think of the gluttonies that fire all those missiles, and the goblin chucks and the other ones that they'll shoot out all those projectiles at you. Like they make this many projectiles on purpose. I actually think that is designed around the charged armor as well. So many projectiles to, help with overcoming charge on our side. So it's very weird. They design problems and they design themselves into a corner and then try to get out of it, and then it makes it even worse in this case.
Well, they're getting out of their problems by throwing the problem back at us, right? Oh, skirmish fleets suck? Hey, here, build another one. Oh, our coding sucks? Oh, hey, here, now you won't see what's happening anymore. Good luck.
It makes it very, very difficult for us to make a fleet and test it. Whenever you go to test the fleet, you have no idea what's doing the damage. You just can't see what's there. So
not only that,
even changing my dragons is a pain because I can't see what's hitting it.
Okay, pause. Hey, mate. Dirk, go on, mate. You there, buddy?
Yeah, how does it sound now?
Perfect. That's better.
Okay.
That's these new earphones I've got. They're so hard.
So what are your thoughts about this one, mate? Interesting. After 7 years, all of a sudden, our frames per second which is a PC-based issue or a computer-based issue, not a download speed, not an upload speed. It's a PC-based issue. I don't say all of a sudden that for some reason for the last 2 weeks, all of a sudden they're saying frames per second is the cause of it, and we've done something to reduce that. I don't know.
I just think they need to investigate this further. I haven't had the problem. If your PC is not updated, you'll have that problem.
Yeah, it's odd, mate. I don't get it. I don't know. What do you think, Ren? What are your thoughts? Come on.
My thoughts?
Yeah, come on. Be honest.
I am being honest this whole freaking show.
You're being honest with us, as honest as you want to say. Okay, fair enough. I mean, I just find it's bizarre.
Well, it messes with driving.
They need to update their servers.
Yeah.
They need new servers. They need servers in other locations because they've already admitted, it's not this, it's not that. They try to pass the blame. I have a program through Advanced System Care, Smart RAM, and despite clearing my RAM, despite having 20 meg download speed, and using that program to clear up my memory and get it below that 1,000 megabytes usage I use Facebook Game Room, it still jumps up to 1,000 real fast. And if it doesn't, it still starts lagging out. I got to refresh every 20, 30 minutes at the minimum. It's not us. It's not, the internet. It's not the display on our graphics card. My graphics card is high-end.
They used to have a practice there where every few months the memory leakage and other kind of stuff, the instability would creep up, especially after major releases. and then they would do a big cleanup in the code, and then all of a sudden after a release, you would notice that the game would run for over an hour without problems, and memory utilization was down. Like, there was somebody there, at least a person or more, who knew how to clean up the code and make it efficient. I don't think they have such a person anymore, because what I've been noticing now, it's performance problem on top of performance problem, memory utilization running amok, everything going nuts, right? I think they're just, as you said, being lazy or incompetent and throwing the problem at us. With that kind of measure, I mean, I even commented back to them, like, guys, if you want to make it grainy, but you can't just hide projectiles that are killing us so we don't know where to turn. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's the most confusing piece and the most frustrating bit. You don't know where the income. I mean, yes, if it's like one ship, one thing, but if you are in an area that's got multiple things from different locations, you know, you just don't know where to put yourself or which direction to turn. You can make it worse, not better.
What concerns me is who thought that was a good idea. Like when they sat down and had their little meeting that day and said, "You know what? I got an idea. Let's try this." I mean, who seriously said, "Oh yeah, that's great. You know, that's a good idea."
Yeah. Hey, Liam, let's make the projectiles invisible. What do you think?
If that was me, I'd be like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" You know, I mean, you know, obviously.
Right, but if you're the short-sighted guy counting the dollars, you say that's a great idea. They'll take more damage.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, one thing about it is, whenever I drop my fangs, I look at my projectiles. I make sure that, you know, when it fires, I move, and that's how I drive my fang tooths. Well, I move when you know. And there's times where I don't see my torpedoes, and so I'm like, well, did they fire or not? I don't know.
Quite honestly, aren't we as players? Aren't we within our rights? If we take damage from a shot that we cannot see, can't I put a ticket in and claim a bug report on that?
No, because they're going to say, oh, your computer doesn't have enough power, so it lowers the FPS. It's your computer. That's what they're trying to say.
But my computer has a lot of power. My computer is a gaming computer. You know, I've got multi-screens. I've got the whole shebang. I've got really high-speed broadband, and I can show them all that data. And I'll say, but every battle, shots are still disappearing. So what's going on?
Exactly.
You could always send the tickets in. I mean, whether or not they'll do anything about it. I mean, maybe that's the solution, is for everybody that gets hit by something they don't see to send in a ticket.
Yeah.
Could this have been since the raid, I wonder? Because I'm still confused as to what happened in the 80s where you get insta-die. Maybe something like this could have happened.
But see, the blunders in these raid targets have never, for me, they've rarely ever showed. Like in the first raid, they didn't show, and then they said they turned them off or something, and then the second raid, I didn't see them. Now I've seen them all the times in previews. I've seen them. Now I'm wondering if they've just always been turned, like the visuals on them have always been off, or what? I don't know what's going on with that.
Yeah, I don't know, mate. I'm not sure. I don't get it.
I just don't understand why they ever, for any reason, thought that was a good idea. Like, of all the ideas to fix lag issues, there probably would have been a whole brainstorming session and loads of ideas put forward. And of all the ideas, that would have been the one idea that I would have vetoed and said, nope, definitely not that one. And that's the one they've done, you know? So, I don't know.
Yeah, it's great. Actually, look, guys, I'll just go back quickly. So we're talking about the Chameleon earlier on, about the Generalist, and saying that some of the values were 100%, negative 100% on the defense stats. Actually, that didn't go into the game, or it's been adjusted since, because Haffel's just said and just showed me a picture that actually now it's gone back to 20% across all stats. Not that I'm going to build it still.
I think if you use the Siege CIC on it, it reduces the other defenses to -100, but only if you add the Siege CIC.
Ah, that's interesting. Maybe it's that. But the blank hole did have it on it beforehand, against, apart from the two special two damage types that were decent. But.
So next raid you'll see the assault CIC and.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's it then. You just have to change the CIC out, and then it works for that type of. Then that would be logical. But then again, you wouldn't be able to change it in like 15 minutes or an hour or something like that, not like 4 days or something. You know.
But you'll need to change weapons. You'll need to, I mean, it's going to be.
No, that's what I mean. The whole thing, the whole lot. You should be. If you've taken 20 days to build each hull and that sort of stuff, and you're only going to be able to go into sort of like the A sets, which is the lower ones, which means you're not a massive coin and you're certainly not a man that can go and get every freaking token available. Then you should be able to switch it and be done, ready for the next month.
But you're not, because you're going to have to change the charge armors, weapons.
No, let's get rid of them freaking things altogether. The CIC should do the job for this. If you're going to keep Generalist, it's not going to happen, Mike. But if you're going to keep the Generalist, the CIC should put the right amount of armor type on it, and it should put the right amount of defense stat on it.
And I'm even afraid we say, oh, they should go away, because I like the fact that they make my ship better without adding to repair time. Because if they're going to make us back to using like D5's kind of armor, D4, D5, they add an hour and a half, 2 hours of repair time. If they're going to do that, then the base repair time on the ship has to go down to like half an hour. Like
massively. Yeah. No, it does. You're right.
Yeah, that's agreeable.
What I do like, though, is the Dragon and that stuff is basically the same repair time as the Monoliths and Icebreakers. I was fearing that it would be a higher repair time. So.
I was hoping it would be lower than what we have now. It's supposed to be a tier 7, so I was expecting the repair to be further down than the same.
That's a good point, actually.
Probably like a good half an hour. I'm not saying 2 hours off. I'm just saying a good half an hour off on the new tier 7 hull would have been nice.
Yeah.
Can't get everything we want, though.
Or anything. No, we have. I mean, let's be honest. PvP and the Bounty 7 was really good, and PvP's come back. Apart from, actually, Rooster was saying actually that you've noticed that these big new hulls that are coming out now, the repair time is climbing quite considerably. 9 hours, I think it is now, for one fleet. So the prepping of that fleet. If you want to go coining a 9 hour. After a preps, I mean that's totally dead, mine. But even if it was half dead for a decent prep sort of stuff, and then
hey, I have a guest here. He wants to say hi. Say hi.
Hello. Hello.
That's my son.
Oh right, okay.
Hi there.
How you doing?
The one thing
I would love to sick, but I'm doing great.
The one thing I would love to see in Bounty 8 is a new Defender hull. We have 2 new Conqueror hulls to be put. Like, I get it, some people are defending, but not all players know the builds, and no one is very willing to share the builds to defend against the new Stormcruiser. And I think it's about time for one new Defender, and then you can go back to your base hitters if they so choose to.
Aren't we going to have another turret? Didn't they say we're going to have another turret now in Raid?
Yeah, it should be, shouldn't there?
There will be one in Raid? Nice.
Yeah. So next one, let's think about it. We just had missile. They won't do explosive mortar because obviously it's limited ones. So it should be ballistic, if anything.
They have said on one of the posts that it's a howitzer cannon.
Yeah, it should be ballistic, shouldn't it?
Yeah, I saw that on one of those teasers that they put out, like saying it's going to be a howitzer level 6 or whatever.
I seen. I had it confirmed just a second ago. It's going to be XO free, execution free. It's called it.
They just got done with 2. Now they gotta make a 3.
We ran out of names. Executioner 3, we're out of names.
Yeah, but it's a ballistic one. So.
Oh right.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, it looks like a missile thing too. It's just like the.
But you won't know. This is the thing. It's called mystery exo because you don't know. You don't see it.
You don't see it coming.
You're not helping, mate, at all.
The John Cena gun.
I just found the post. It says here. Legion has dug in and are making their stand at Butcher's Bay. Can you defeat their forces and earn the new Howitzer Cannon 6?
Yeah, that's it. I thought they were going to do a new Jedi Ballista. That's what I was thinking they were going to do, but obviously that's not the case. So.
Well, I think it's going to be a front line turret if it's like all the other Howitzers.
That'll be a first in a while.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
Looking forward to that 36-day build time for sure.
So yeah, so if we're going to get a frontline one, that'll be the first frontline one for a long time. Everything's been long range recently, and I know why, because obviously the bus and all the mortars problems and that sort of stuff. Although, are they expecting us to say that we've actually got enough, elite countermeasures in there now to mitigate that? I certainly haven't got enough, I must admit.
Give me another month so I can put one in. Hang on, guys.
Yeah, I need one in as well.
What I like about the Executioner is it was actually really fast and easy with base parts, unlike the Epic Cat Mowers and all the other ones.
Mm.
I'm pretty sure maybe a new one might be as fast as the Executioner. Too.
It'd be nice if they just got all those those limited ones and just cut the build time in half now.
They need to sort them out.
Down to a quarter. Like they've offered them so many times. I don't know why they don't keep checking in every couple months on the old stuff. Like if you chop the build time of Fangs and Hunters in half, I don't care. I know we brought it up earlier, but it's just like after the raid cycle, they lose a significant part of their effectiveness, especially if it's something that is less frequently cared about by players. Like Titanium is good. I understand that, but it's not for everyone. So like maybe Assault could see a bit more of a hit in build time, just because the time even to get back up and ready, you need to spend a whole raid cycle to build last year's fleet to get ready. Unless they do some major token offers like they have this week with the 50 days on the Fang Tooth.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're coming up to the hour. We've had not quite the show I thought it was going to be. Probably my own fault because I sort of set people on the path that maybe I shouldn't have. But the points are all valid, you know. People are concerned, okay? People on the page are concerned. People in general I'm chatting to in chat online are concerned. They're very concerned about the direction of the FM. They're very concerned about the scalability of repairs on PvP fleets. And they're certainly concerned about the transition as it's going through. The only benefit, I think, although we haven't seen it yet and seen how it's going to be delineated between the two, you know, the blitzer and the skill side of the single hole that's coming, we're in a bit of a dilemma. So I'm not sure.
I mean, I think so far it's been a good year. There's been a lot of good progress, and I'm very happy with the direction that the game seemed to have gone for the first quarter of the year. I just hope they don't mess it up now. You know, there's a few decisions in the air, and there's a few bits going on that could really cripple the year and push all that hard work and all that good stuff we've seen will soon be forgotten when everyone's annoyed and pissed off about what's going on just now. You know. Anyone?
Liam just killed the conversation. Liam, congratulations.
I'm still. Ren's put a thing in this our Hangout side chat, and I'm lost. I don't know what he's talking about. Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. I don't know.
Your base.
Oh, right. I see. Yes.
Might be that. Not sure.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. Right. Okay. Is that Rum just popped in?
No, not me.
Right. It's time to leave.
Okay, bye.
That's the end of the show.
Right.
I'm just getting a good seat for the after show.
Oh, right. Oh,
so does anyone have TSM cords?
Yes, I do.
You're right next door to me.
I think he wants a base test.
You're right next door to me, for goodness sake. Everyone knows my base is. It never moves. It's 217 East. Just freaking come and play. I don't give a monkeys. So what?
Anchors built in. You got moss on the anchors.
Do what?
You got moss on your anchors. You picked up another level, too. You went to 129. How much you been coining this week, bro?
A little.
A little? I love it.
I've got a nice guard.
Well, yeah. I saw that guard this morning. How's that working out for you?
It's all right, mate, to be honest. I posted a funny video. We don't do basic videos on TFC, but I put it somewhere else. I did it as a funny one, so.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
It
was like, what the heck?
There he is, look. Oh, but you're such a knob.
We all like it, that's why.
Yeah, that's
I saw that, Venom.
Yeah, so did I.
What did he do? I missed it.
He was a child, as he always is.
Oh.
It's all good. I'm right beside you.
I'm sorry for the disastrous chain of events I have set in motion.
Yeah, I'm doing it right at the moment because I'm making up base defense ships and then just
the good thing of having some friends next to your base is that they can laugh at your misfortunes.
Yeah, always. It's a busy sector where we are at the moment. Everyone's come to say hello. It's quite funny.
Oh God, it's crazy. Yeah.
I jumped beside Mark and I've been hit 3 times today so far.
Yeah, don't come next to me. No one likes sitting next to me for very too long.
Yeah, Venom, you're inside the stinky field.
Yeah. I always sit next to the good thing is I always sit right next to the portal, so they just port in and go, there he is, smash. It's always funny.
The axis.
Yeah. I don't know.
You're inside the monkey mess.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'll say one thing though. Kixai's managing to bring PvP back to life. Like
That's
my
working.
base wasn't hit for over a month at a time. Like in the second half of last year, sometimes it would be a month in between hits. Now, this week alone is being hit 4 times, and I've been flattened 3 times out of the 4. So I'm a noob, but still, it's alive.
Oh, yeah.
I've been hit about 15 times this week.
You've been hit loads, I know.
I get hit once a day, maybe twice.
I blame Ninja, but
That's
okay.
me like
I take the
calling
hit.
repair and then hitting straight back and stuff.
I got it twice during the show, and I had not been hit for over a month before that.
Yeah, Dirk, you should come over as well. It's good fun. It's have a laugh. There's loads of people. We had I think 3 different big alliances in last week. It was and during Bounty as well. It was funny.
It's full of undesirables just now.
It is, yeah. Undesirable.
Liam, I fart in your general direction.
Well, you like TSM. He's like a bad fart. He just lingers around.
I own that portal. Go away. Right, come on. Apart from the topics, let's go across the line before we close down for night. So, Brian, come on and keep it under 5 minutes.
Bounty has made me so optimistic about PvP that I'm actually like devising strats and actually started building a mega ship proper now. So that's how well they did, I think. Good job.
That's awesome.
Good job. Like that. And it was under 1 minute. I like that even more. Dirk, come on. Let's have some amusement with your mic. What have you got? 1 point for me, please. Just unmute yourself first, mate. Is he there? Is he going to come in?
Who?
Dirk. I was going to see if he's going to come in and say hello. No. He's still on mute. Okay. Come on, young lady. What about you?
Well.
Shut up.
Oh, you're talking to me. Sorry.
There's only one lady here.
Oh, are you? Am I the only one still? I thought there was another girl in here.
There's you and Liam.
Oh. Well, actually, in the spirit of the PvP, I actually kind of did something. I don't know if I regret it or not, but I bought one of the deals that they had last night. It was 10 days of the missile ship tokens for $25 American dollars. And I was super excited about it because I had 10 days left on my second one. And then whenever I went to use them, there were no tokens. So they charged me $25 for the tokens, but gave me the VXP. So I paid $25 for VXP that I didn't need. So I'm waiting.
They didn't have tokens on the offer.
I saw the offer.
Oh, they did.
VXP tokens, at least the one I saw.
I saw 2 VXP offers, no builds.
I saw 2 VXP offers, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was build tokens.
Yeah,
I only got VXP.
There was one for free 25,000 VXP, and then there was one for 25,000 VXP. I bought the free one because mine were almost fully ranked by free. So.
Well, that makes sense then, because I'd had my evening medicines and was probably loopy and all excited, and then I was angry.
You stick with your plan, girl. Get your money back.
I was really disappointed. It was like being married to one of my ex-husbands again.
They would have been disappointed too. Don't worry.
Right?
Whoa! Shots fired.
Oh dear. Right. Okay.
Oh
That's
Lord.
it.
But no, I've been spinning a little bit. So I think that I was pretty excited after the bounty, and there's been a lot of really good hitting back and forth between us and some other groups, and I've even been spinning to hit back and forth a little bit. It was done in a long time, but I was leaving my base flat, and I hit about 8 bases yesterday with it flat. So I think it's been good. I think it's been a good week, really.
Yeah, PvP's coming back, isn't it? So long as they have another good bounty, that'll be good. It's a shame I'm not going to be here for it, but I'll have to miss out a few weeks because I'm going away soon. But hey, by the time I get back at the end of May, it should be really good. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
What do we got then? Kirk, what about you, mate?
Me? It went well. I bought the $20 offer for the Vanquishers. I already had most of my base card built by that time, and I put 2 Vanquishers in my base. And I got to stop quite a few gimps coming to try to take 50 grand off of my base at the end of bounty. So it was going well, and I hit quite a few bases, ranging from 20k to more, and I just love stealing the bounty off of them because it saved me from grinding out my targets. So it went well. I claimed everything in that bounty and ended with, I don't know, 180k or more. So it went well.
Yeah. The last day of bounty this time worked, I think, as bounty should have done in day one. I mean, bounty in general was good fun, but the Sunday particularly was very amusing. I found it might have caught a few people out because obviously a lot of people went over what they would normally bank because they were gaining it consistently through, and then obviously they got it pilfered off of them. But they'll learn for next time, you know. But in general terms, I think Sunday was probably the best day in bounty. I thought. But yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, so we'll see how the next one goes. Hopefully they'll keep it very, very, very similar. Liamitis 99. What about you?
What was the question?
I don't have one, mate. What's your point?
Don't eat yellow snow.
Don't eat yellow snow. Okay.
But the red one is okay.
Thanks for that one. Get some more goo and get on your camera next time.
No, my point. One of my biggest gripe. I tell you what, my biggest gripe in BP right now is the 30-day build times on the turrets, the limited turrets we had. The countermeasure turret, the new Moor, and the beefed up Wendigo. I'd love to put some of them in my base, but the build times are just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's bonkers, I must admit. Renato, what about you, mate?
Me, I think I said everything, man. I won't take extra time. I know we're over time.
Okay, cool. Okay. Well, I'm going to leave the last bit to Rum. Don't worry. Soul Hex, what about you, mate?
Bounty was good. That's actually the first time I actually got higher and got actually the new ships that was offered. I am excited about the dragons and how they're performing, even though that they haven't boosted the damage and the new targets yet. Interested in the 112 that will come out. I want to see how good that does.
If your dragons are doing so good, why would you want the 112?
Well, I'm interested on how they will perform in them.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So,
he likes to find targets to auto.
Yeah.
Who doesn't?
Yeah. And other than that, kind of peeved about the fact that they're adding the new skirmish ship. That's not needed. I don't like it.
No, I think it's a stupid idea.
Yeah, it's only I only see it as a raid blocker.
Yep.
So other than that, it's okay. Been okay.
Yeah, a special would have done just as good to put on the hunters. Yeah, I agree. Cool. Thanks, buddy. Venom, get off my screen and talk.
Oh, I'm not on your screen. I'm looking at Liam at the moment.
Venom.
Oh, yeah, that's that bloke 99 look.
You're off the Christmas card list.
If you want to know, if you go to 217 East and then head slightly towards the east, you might find him.
Go on, hit it then. Asshole.
I'll be right there.
I just have one thing. It was to do with the testing of your bucks with this campaign. If you have a friend that has not finished the campaign, you can get them to go in with a gunboat. You can test whatever you want. They can kill the gunboat and the target will close.
Oh, yes, it does.
You don't have to suicide your ships.
It does all 3 levels, actually, doesn't it?
Yeah.
As I found it earlier on, trying to help someone in number 1, and I found out it was number 2, and I was in there with a set of phoenixes. And I was like, go kill your gunboat quickly.
Yeah.
I didn't fancy getting killed by some subs.
So,
yeah, I did the same.
If you do have any testing you want to do, you don't have to suicide your ships in your own campaign. Just get someone with their campaign to kill a gunboat, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. Everyone's got a friend in need, always. Good points then. Okay, let's go back. Come on, Rum.
I'm happy. The bounty was fun. The bounty got a lot of people. Oh, wait, they're going to take away the 115s and everything else.
There goes the happiness.
Yep, that's all I got to say.
Wow.
And it's funny because last show I said something like, well, you know, three steps forward. I hope they don't screw it up.
Well, yeah, when we were talking about it. You were saying they weren't going to take them away for quite some time. I said, no, I remember reading that they said they were. I just didn't know when. And it turns out they took them away right away.
Yeah, offered the new ship once. Only a few people got it. And we had only a month to build it with absolutely nothing else to do. No competing priorities. And now it's over.
Everybody is fond of saying Kickside looks at the data. That's exactly what they've been doing now for the month that these have been out. The best player, I don't want to say the best players. A lot of players took them. A lot of players coined them. A lot of players tried to get them ready. They have sucked a month's worth of data out from us. They know exactly where to tune them to do the maximum amount of damage that people will accept.
Yeah, and it's still not at the right level as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, no, that's what I'm saying. They've already told you it's going up. They're now ready to tune it up. So you can take your 45-minute or you can take your 30-minute build. When it gets done and the real target comes out, you're still probably going to be looking at an hour to an hour and a half damage.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll see. I don't know. Let's. I think it's going to depend on this 1-1-2. Let's wait and see what we. I'm not going to kick a man while he's down, but I've got my boots on, so let's find out.
Go Venom!
There's two ways that can go. They can either increase the damage output, or fuck up and let us have the target for free.
They're not going to let you have the target for free. They don't want anybody. They don't want anybody to do the FM for free. That's what Liam said, and I agree with him.
Yeah, no. If they were going to do it for free, they'd left the 115 alone. Just left it.
That's it.
And no one would bother building the new ships or going into 117. So I think that 112 will probably be some sort of hybrid.
I think what would have been funny is if we would have thought this through a little bit better, and nobody build the dragons and nobody have the dragons ready to go, and give them no information. And then watch them bring them out and then change them.
The one funny thing is with my dragons and with the fleet in a 115, I can lower the time down on a 115 down to 3 minutes per target. By skipping going around in the circle to just going right into the inside.
But the thing is, it's about to be taken out. So
yeah, it's being taken away, and I'm assuming that might be one cause is because it's no longer... you have a lot more chance going all the way around taking damage versus going straight into the middle of the target and just gutting the whole damn thing out and leaving the target as it is.
You're assuming they're getting rid of a target for a very select few that have the dragons to do it with. Well, this was intended to be something for the mid-levels and the low levels to catch up, or people that have stepped away from the game to catch up. Now they have the fleets to do it. They're going to take it away. So it's another step that they can't catch up without major grinding.
Right. On that note, we're going to pull the plug. We're going to say, first of all, thanks to the panel for coming on. It's been interesting. Not quite the normal positive show, but highlighting some key points. What's our concerns to players, which I'd like when Kixie watches back to at least consider. Okay, I know they watch them back because I always get some feedback. So please do consider it and then put some of our worries to rest. Look, we know it's not a free game. Okay, we know it's free to log in, but that's about it. But if you want to do well, yeah, you've got to pay. We know that. Or sit in your seat for the whole of your life. It's one of the others, isn't it? But even then, sometimes you just can't do it. Thanks all for coming on and chat on the live chat there. There's been a bit of a heated discussion going on. Ford, thanks for moderating, mate. You're doing a good job. Jeff as well. It's always good to see you guys in there. I feel like I've got safe pairs of hands, especially when Jeff's in there because he just cuts everything off as he does on the page. It always makes me smile. Take care. Enjoy yourselves. And obviously, we'll look for the update for next week, which should be the raid release, the information for the raid. So we shall find out about this Tideseeker, see what the final stats are, and the weapon and that sort of stuff. Okay, so that should be interesting.
One real quick question.
Yeah,
do you think there will be sub-spotting ability in the new Tideseeker? The proto?
You'll find out on Tuesday.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
Okay. Right. Say good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.